Hello YouTubers of the world, this is Arndelf playing MechWarrior. Today I'm going to be going over community warfare and a few of the basics within it. Here you're going to see that we're at the basic inner sphere screen, which you get just by hitting the faction play button right here at the top. It says fight with your faction. If you do not currently have a faction, you will actually see a list of them pop up on your screen. You can go through and select a faction and then swear allegiance to that faction for a certain period of time that we will cover at a later date. Alright. Now this is an alternate form of play from the normal quick play, which you'll see right here. This is the standard quick play 15-minute match that you'll either get skirmish, assault, or conquest. In community warfare, you'll get half-hour-long matches where instead of dropping one mech, you'll drop 4. And invasion is objective-based, while counterattack does involve an objective. It isn't nearly as important as it is in invasion. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and cover your drop deck. Alright, now to get the drop deck pulled up, all you have to do is click on any planets you can actually click on. These ones are all grayed out. You can't get your drop deck to pull up by clicking on them. But any of the ones that are showing up here in red or blue, you can get. So we'll just click on Goat Path, and now you see this thing come up that says Dropship. This is showing your drop deck, the 4 mechs of which you will deploy. Alright. Now, normally speaking, you will get a light, a medium, a heavy, and an assault. But due to the minimum tonnage and maximum tonnage, you can vary and toy around with that quite a bit. You can't ever really go with all light mechs or all assault mechs. You can't go extreme one way or the other. But you can get some generously interesting builds to fit in, as you can see that I've done here. I have the light, medium, and 2 assaults, and I even have plenty of tonnage to spare. Because in between max and minimum, you'll see your current tonnage, 230. So if I really wanted to, I could probably up the Cicada to something significantly heavier. Now the first thing that you'll see here, lit up in yellow, is the very first mech of which I will deploy in. And you can change that just by clicking on another mech, like that. And then you can click on Edit to edit your drop deck. Pretty self-explanatory there. So I will now click on Edit, and just so you know, when you click on Edit, it's not going to automatically default to the mech that is your first drop. I'll go ahead and click on my Locust, then I'll hit Save, and then I'll hit Edit again, and you'll see how it goes straight to my Locust. So a lot of times I've made a mistake where I assume that the my first drop mech is also going to be the mech that I'm editing. Just make sure that when you go into Edit, click on the mech you actually want to edit, whether you want to put in a different mech or whatever. Now, in here you'll see the list of all mechs that are available for deployment, whether they be mechs you own or simply trial mechs, and they're alphabetized. So, pretty straightforward and simple. Alright, one thing that you should know is depending on whether you go with a clan or whether you go with an inner sphere, those are the only mechs that are going to be available for your deployment. So, inner sphere or clan. Always make sure that you're aware of that before jumping into one faction or the other. As you can see, I have nothing but inner sphere mechs at my disposal for this drop. And I'll go over here and we'll hit my Lore Master. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll go to my champion Cicada. And you'll see me go to the Trebuchet. And I will pull up the Loup de Guerre. And I know I mispronounced that, but whatever. Click on that. You'll see my current tonnage go up by 10 tons. I'll hit Save. And now my Loup de Guerre is in my drop deck, or my Warlord M3. So I got my Warhound, my Warlord, my Innkeeper, and Lore Master. These are the 4 mechs of which I will deploy in my next drop. Alright, also, with me on Goat Path, you'll see that I have the attack pulled up. I can actually hit attack, and it will then, since I am in a single queue by myself, I will now drop into this screen on Goat Path. Now, Something important to notate when you come in here is you'll notice that when that second person came in, another yellow little thing filled up. That means that there are now 2 groups of 1 in here. Let's say that a bunch of people jumped in and it went down to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would then theorize that a group of 6 had suddenly just come in. But I'd be able to verify that by going here. If any of these other ones light up, it means another group has actually jumped into the queue of an actual, large amount. In other words, multiple people in one group. And when you're actually in a group, you can trace yourself in other groups that way. But when just the 1 fills up, it's just pugs. A bunch of single players that are all about to drop together. And as you can see, both go all the way up to 11, because once you max out, it's supposed to actually lock you in. And when you're attacking, it will lock you in. However, we'll go out of here. Cancel, leaving lobby. Always takes a moment. Okay. And we'll go to some empty place like Outpost, which we're defending from the Ghost Bears usually. Hit defend. Now, this is a defense. The red is attack, invasion, where you're attacking them, and the blue is defense, where you're defending from either other factions or the clans. Now, one thing to notate is when this entire thing fills up, you notice how all these are blue. When you're defending a planet and you get all the players in and you're completely maxed out, you're not going to immediately lock into a match. You're actually going to sit there and not be able to do squat. Why? Because a single territory actually has to either be taken for you to lock in and do the 10-minute countdown for a drop, or there has to be an enemy faction that either locks in after you're ready to lock in or already has for you to lock in. I have actually many times come in to a screen like this, been waiting around and waiting around and waiting around, and it was completely maxed out, and I didn't understand we weren't locking in for the 10-minute drop. So if you see all of these filled with pilot receiving orders, and then yourself, or for that matter your group, because when you drop in here with a group, you'll actually see their names, but you don't understand why you're not locking in for the 10-minute countdown for either a ghost drop or another enemy locking in actually be able to fight somebody, it's because you're defending and not a single territory has been taken. Something extremely important to notate, so you're not waiting around forever for no reason. Okay, here. Alright, so this is also the area that, assuming that you're part of a unit, because you can, as a single person, swear allegiance to a group, but you can also be part of a unit which has sworn allegiance to a group, which will allow you to participate in community warfare, because without allegiance to a faction, you're not going to be able to participate. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Member Management. Here you will see your units. This is my unit, as I've already previously covered. Let's see here. Here you will see all of their names and ranks. I've already covered what the unit rankings and everything else like that mean. Just a quick update in that area. I've added the Karashna Moor. Well, I'll actually just go into rank management now and show you the Karashna. But the Karashna shows you, they're the extremely aggressive group. Because one thing I have noticed in MechWarrior Online, aggression actually wins you games when you're tactically smart about it. Getting in, jumping into the enemy's face, getting into their face, 99% of MechWarriors don't know how to deal with that. Especially when you've got a bunch of targets pouring into your field of fire, and you were focus firing on just one, but then there's multiples, and you're switching, you got to focus down one mech and then switch the next and switch the next. It confuses the crap out of people when you get a bunch of enemies that pour in. So the Karashna are basically our berserkers, are people who are smart and aggressive. So we're going to be training people in that area. Long story short, though, from the rank management area, you can see where all the different ranks are and how many people are in each of them. However, I have heavily customized mine, and you'll normally see something a little bit different from this, as you'll be able to see from my unit rankings video. Now, the next thing is the view coffers. Now, depending on your ranking, what you are within your units, or even if you have a unit, you'll see this screen and how much is in here. Now, if you're by yourself, I believe that all you're going to get when you jump into this screen, well, I don't believe you'll actually see this screen. If you need to break a contract, I believe you'll just simply draw from your own funds. When you're part of a unit, you have coffers that you can donate to. You can see that I've donated twice, and it shows both the dates. And then Akatan has donated 300,000 far more recently, December of last year, which would be approximately a month ago, almost exactly. So from this screen, you can view coffers and donate yourself depending upon your rank. And I will cover that a little bit more in detail when we actually get to break contract. Now, in faction loyalties, pop this up. You're going to see all of this, which basically shows you the rewards for achieving a certain rank and how far along you are in loyalty points to achieving that. Loyalty points are something you earn every single time you go into a community warfare battle. As you can see from the lit up blue, I've achieved the rank all the way up to Sergeant. The next rank being Sergeant 2. So on all of these, you're going to see that it's lit up all the way. We'll click out of that and click into here. And you'll see that I have gotten 54,782 out of the 79,500 that I need to get to my next rank, Sergeant 2. The reward of which will be 600 grand in C-bills and a cup of pop. And the cup of pop is a cockpit item, so it does no actual good for you, but hey, if you like decorations, you're a cockpit, great. At least your MechWarrior can drink some pop and dehydrate himself. Alright, now from here as well, you can see your faction, your faction loyalty across all of them, whether they be clan or one of the houses. Now, since I have gone across all of these, Davian, Kurita, Leo, Merrick, I do not know how to pronounce that, so I will butcher it. Free Razahalgu, yeah, I know I butchered that, whatever. House Steiner, Smoke Jaguar, Jade Falcon, Wolf, and Ghost Bear. So here you'll see I've made it to the rank of Sergeant in Davian, the Gocho in Kurita, Liao, Lance Corporal, Merrick, Private First Class, Razahalga, I've made it to Sergeant, Steiner, Staff Sergeant, Smoke Jaguar, Warrior Point 4, Jade Falcon, Point Commander, Wolf, Warrior Point 2, Ghost Bear, Warrior Point 4. My unit bounces from faction to faction, harvesting mech base, which is especially useful for newer players, and especially useful for me since I put no money into this game. I am strictly a skill to win, not buy to win. I have plenty of people in my unit who do put money in the game, so it's not like we ban players like that. You're welcome to put money into the game. It's always up to you. It's just I always like to test myself in games and always do strictly skill and nothing else. Alright, now to get out of this screen, you go ahead and just hit the back button, and it brings you back here. And if you click on faction loyalties, it'll immediately bring you back to that screen, and then you'll have to hit back again, so just be aware of that. Click on break contract to go to the next bit. Now, whether you're by yourself or whether you're in a unit, break contract is going to be there. And it's something that, depending on the amount of C-bills you have, you can then initiate breaking the contract with whatever house you're in. Now, this does not instantaneously free you from whoever you're with. Usually it will leave a certain amount of time left on the contract for expiration, and you get to actually be a freelancer again. Okay, here. Since I can't actually afford to break this contract, I can't actually show you the next bit on there. But you can see that per number of members and cost per day per member, 50 grand with 7 members. And since we've got quite a bit of time left on the contract, if I were to break the contract, it would only break 7 days off of it. And there's currently 10 days. So from what I know, every single time that you break a contract, by the looks of this, it looks like you always have 3 days left on the contract after breaking it. so far, because this was a month-long contract and I've broken a week-long contract and it left 3 days on it. So it looks like 3 days is the standard bit. Okay, here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and return back to the Inner Sphere home here. And as I said, this is just a few basics about faction warfare, community warfare, and everything else in between. All these factions are at war with each other. This is Steiner, Merrick, Leo, Davian, Kurita, Rizahalgu, I know I butchered that, Smoke Jaguar, and these of course are the clans, Smoke Jaguar, Ghost Bear, Wolf, and Jade Falcon. You can see all their separate colors here. And no faction is at peace with another. You, depending on where you are, and if you're touching another faction, you can attack that faction. I'll go ahead and see if I can find a planet that, yes, see? Here you will find that we can attack Kurita. Rubigen is owned by them. We'll see if we can find it here along the border. Is this it? Yes, this is it. So this is Rubigen. And if we really wanted to, we could get a 12-man together, whether it be pugs or a full group, and we could start attacking Kurita. Now, one thing that's important to notate. So I'll go to a planet that's actually contested. You know, see how it says attacker wins 7%? Well, if that gets up above 50%, as of the ceasefire, which you see how it says attack phase, 6 hours, 11 minutes. In 6 hours and 11 minutes, if we were to have gotten that 7% above 50% and the ceasefire took effect, the ceasefire will last approximately 50 minutes, and at the end of it, that planet would then belong to us. Okay, here. So that is something important to notate across all of the factions. Alrighty, here. And by clicking, by zooming in, you see how I'm zoomed out. I just use my mouse wheel to zoom in here, depending on what your default button is for that. Well, the default button normally is that on the mouse wheel, but some people use joysticks. When you click on a planet, you can then see the symbol for whoever owns that planet or is occupying it. And you'll see here Steiner, Merrick, Davian. The only planet that doesn't actually seem to be owned by anybody is Terra itself, which of course is owned by PGI. They should probably put occupying unit PGI. Because if you ever actually face any of the PGI players, they will have the PGI unit tag, where you see ours is Bane, theirs will actually just say PGI. That way you'll actually know. And then you will see this picture. That's when you actually know you're facing one of them. Okay. Alright, well that was a few basics on community warfare. I will be going over more about MechWarrior in the future, but for now, if you have any comments, feel free to field them. I love feedback. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you really like this stuff and you want to hear more from it. And no matter what, have fun. I will go ahead and see you all next time, and don't get into too much trouble, or do. It's always up to you. Toodles!